Okay. Hello, everybody. To all the people watching, just nobody. Hello, hi, welcome back. It's been a while. If you're watching this, if you somehow see this, you come across this, I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I hope you continue to have a fantastic day, and I hope that I can piss you off, and I don't hope that, but maybe I piss you off in some shape, form, or fashion with some terrible predictions. Because if you didn't know, oh, oh my goodness, no way, Faison is in here right now. I love you, Faison. Just you and me, buddy, but I appreciate you, man. Faison, I know you know this, but to everyone else out there who may be watching, if you didn't know, the NFL just dropped the full regular season schedule yesterday. I had to work, or otherwise this would have been yesterday, unfortunately. But anywho, there are some interesting matchups. Making the schedule is very hard, and I feel like this year they didn't do a good job. I don't know. Week 1, there's some great matchups, but I think the later in the season you go, it's all divisional, which may be interesting. Maybe they cooked. We'll wait and see. Maybe they cooked. But Faison, for you, man, I guess we can go ahead and jump into it. I guess for you, Faison. All right, here, Faison. Do you want to do the Packers first, or should we do the Lions first? Your pick, man. I'll wait for. It's a little bit of a delay because of the responses, but I will await your response. But thanks so much for being here. Packers or Lions first. One of those two. Or you can pick a different one, but I'll let you pick. Because we have 32 teams. I'm going to try and get through the whole schedule in this stream. I think I can do that, right? All right, you want to go Lions first? Yeah, I think that's a reasonable feat to accomplish. So we'll start with the Detroit Lions. My Detroit Lions. Woo! All right, Faison. It's gonna be an interesting season for sure. This is weird going into it. The Lions are top 5 in Super Bowl odds, which is something not very, not very like the Lions to have that kind of, what's the word? Expectations. The Lions are not a team to have expectations for. Usually they're supposed to suck. But anywho, we have 5 primetime games and a Thursday Thanksgiving game as usual. Starting off the season, though, with a primetime game against the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford. Don't you worry, I do not have the Lions sweeping the Packers. Definitely not happening this season. It wouldn't shock me, but if anything, I see the Packers sweeping the Lions. But we'll get there, Faison. Don't you worry, we'll get there. Starting off week 1, though, Rams at Detroit, rematch of the wild card round we had last year. A lot of Rams fans were pissed off about that game. I don't give a fuck. You know how many times the Lions were screwed in games ever? I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I do not care. Plus, Rams went to a Super Bowl over a missed call, a terrible missed call. So I just don't care. But anywho, Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff, two very even trade. I love Matthew Stafford still. I always love Matthew Stafford for the shit that he put up with on this team. But this is going to be a good game. Honestly, it would not shock me to see the Lions lose this game. I'm going to be optimistic, though. I'm going to say we start out 1-0. I'm hoping we get a strong start. Sunday Night Football in Detroit. I think that place is going to be fucking nuts. That's just a tough environment to play if you're the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel a little bit more confident about this one. So 2-0 start for the Detroit Lions. Ooh, excuse me. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're a good team. I don't think them and the Lions are on the same level. I think the Detroit's a big step up from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can win their division, but I don't think the Buccaneers would make it as a wild card. Moving on to the Arizona Cardinals, an interesting one. Marvin Harrison Jr. now on that team. Lions love getting burnt by good wide receivers, but the thing is, we kind of own the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a team that I rarely see the Lions lose to, which is weird to say. So I have the Lions starting off 3-0. Ford Field is going to be fucking packed this season. Now, if anything, if last season told us anything, this year if the draft told us anything, it's gonna be popping in Ford Field this season. Now, Seattle at Detroit, Monday night football game, and I didn't even think I put that below, but that's our second primetime game. Now, I think the Lions a better team than the Seattle Seahawks? Absolutely. I definitely think the Lions are a better team than the Seahawks. However, I say this every year, and every year it's been true. Teams that you generally, unless they're like the 49ers, if they go start off undefeated, there's going to be one slip up in the beginning of the season because we don't have a lot of tape on all these teams. And, there's a more motivation to win their first game. And when you are undefeated, there's more of a motivation, not a more of a motivation, but you're more likely to lose that first game. The more I don't know. It's weird, but trust every year this happens. So long story short, I'm picking the Seahawks. Plus, Seattle is a team I have never seen the Lions beat. Unlike the Cardinals, I feel like the Lions always beat the Cardinals. They never beat the Seahawks. So Seattle, I'll give them that one, 3-1. Now, say if we lose to the Rams week 1, I'll give us the Seattle game. But I think we're going to start 3-1. Headed into an early fucking bye week. This pisses me off. That's fucking bullshit. Why is it even possible to have a bye week at week 5, man? That's just so early. The season hasn't even started yet. I guess that's technically a fourth of the way almost, but still, I think it's way too early for a bye. I hate that we have it. But the plus side of things coming off of it is we get the Dallas Cowboys coming off of our bye. And, I feel like teams, you're either better coming off your bye or you're not better coming off your bye. And I think the Lions are usually a team, especially if they're coming off a loss against Seattle, they're not a team that loses back-to-back, So, you think the Cardinals and Giants might go 0-17? I don't think any team's necessarily going to go. Yeah, I know. I don't think any team will go 0-17. I feel like the league, there's good, because last season the Cardinals, we thought were going to win 2 games. They won 4, and one of them was against the Eagles, and one of them was against the Steelers. So teams are going to have these momentum shifts, these absurd ones, and so it's so hard to predict nowadays. But I actually think the Cardinals are going to be better than people expect. I don't think they'll make the playoffs or anything crazy. Plus, I think they'll probably win 4 games still because that division is brutal. But, I think they're better than people say. I'll give them more credit, especially this year. Now they'll have a full season with Kyler Murray. I think we're chilling in that department. But Cowboys coming off a bye week. Obviously, the Lions kind of got screwed last year against the Dallas Cowboys. The Taylor Decker reporting is eligible. Whole fiasco, refs just, not listening to what a player tells them directly. But, the Cowboys defense also weren't told correctly who was eligible or not. So it's all fair in the end. But I'm going with a revenge game. They want that game so bad, man. The Lions, they want to win this game so incredibly bad, man. I know they're going, this game, all the players wanted it in the playoffs. Your Packers, unfortunately, Faison, just kidding, not unfortunately. I'm glad you beat the Cowboys. Ended their hopes for that, but that gave us a setup game against the Buccaneers to go to the NFC Championship game. But after that, we have the Minnesota Vikings coming off a bye. That scares me a little bit because the Vikings are coming off of a bye, and I think, the Vikings have a great coach. They have Justin Jefferson still. Jordan Addison's a good player. They have a decent offensive line. Great defensive coordinator in Brian Flores. So it's hard for the Vikings, man. They're kind of I feel like they're going to be in a little bit of a rebuilding year with Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. But nonetheless, I think the Lions will win that game. So what are we, 5-1? Yeah, we're 5-1. Headed into Week 8 against the Tennessee Titans. I think we win that game. Tennessee's another team that I've never seen the Lions actually beat, but I think there's no way. Come on. In Ford Field, I think the Lions are a much better team than the Tennessee Titans. I think they should win this game. The matchup you've been waiting for, Faison. The Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Last year we split, but it was flip-flopped. We won in Lambeau and lost in Detroit. This year, I know I said the Lions. Okay, well, I'll get to that in a second. But I'm going to go with the Packers right here. I think the Packers are probably going to beat us in Lambeau. I think we'll split. If anything, I think the Packers will sweep the Lions just because that's how the Lions are. As a Lions fan, I would know. But, yeah, I think in Lambeau, the Packers, Jordan Love, Faison, you might hate me, but I think the rest of the team of the Green Bay Packers might be, I feel like the offense is underrated and the defense is a little bit overrated. I don't really know. But it's not that scary, but Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love is going to be an elite quarterback. So the way he played towards the end of last season, I think he's only going to get better, man. So that's the real catalyst for not a catalyst, but that's the real thing for the Green Bay Packers that are going to pose as a huge advantage for them. Then week 10 at the Houston Texans. Can you see that? Yeah. The Houston Texans, that's another team the Lions never beat. The Lions never beat the Houston Texans. I think they're probably going to win by like 3 scores. They're going to beat the shit out of us. It's going to be like the Ravens last year. Texans, they can be 4-12 and they'll beat the shit out of the Lions. They did that on Thanksgiving. It was great. But, the Lions, I feel like the Lions own the Jaguars too. We always play the Jaguars well. Lions at Colts is an interesting one. How good is Anthony Richardson going to be? I really don't know. I'm seeing plenty of different opinions on Anthony Richardson. Some people saying he's great. Some people saying he's just okay. I think the Lions will take this one against the Colts at Indianapolis. That might be a little bit of a bold one. The Lions are good, okay? None of these are bold, but no. Jordan Love is not overrated. I think the parts around him are overrated. Maybe the receivers are underrated, but the offensive line, defensive line, I think are overrated. But we are yet to see. I love the Xavier McKinney signing in the offseason. So, secondary definitely got better, I would hope. But we'll see what happens. Then we have the Chicago Bears on Thursday. Caleb Williams' first game against the Detroit Lions. This is the Thanksgiving game, so of course I'm not going to pick the fucking Lions to win that because they always lose on Thanksgiving, and the Bears had our number last year. That was with Justin Fields, and it's really against mobile quarterbacks that the Lions do really shitty against, or at least they did last season. And, I don't think – or I'm not going to confidently say we are going to beat the Bears on Thanksgiving. But, like I said, I do think we're going to split with the Packers. Again, we're not a team that loses back-to-back games very often, so lose to the Bears, come back and win against the Green Bay Packers. Back-to-back Thursday football games, which is kind of weird. You don't really see that often, but, I'll take it. Shit, man. This next game is tough for me. So right now the Lions are 9-4. The Buffalo Bills at the Detroit Lions. Man. Because the thing is, I want to say the Lions, but I feel like, again, this is a team that we never beat. Plus, it's Josh Allen, and he's a very mobile quarterback. I won't go too risky here. I'll say that's a loss for the Lions. I'll say that's a loss right there. Then, headed into Week 16, we have our second matchup with the Bears in Chicago. I know I keep saying that we're not a team to lose very often back-to-back, but the Bears have our number. They showed that last season. I think the Bears are going to be actually pretty scary this season, but that's all going to depend on how good Caleb Williams is. Lions at 49ers. Okay, believe it or not, I say, they're going to be fucking pissed. This is late in the season. I feel like the 49ers are going to have to drop a couple. They're a good team. Lions are one of the best teams they play. I have the Lions going on the road on Monday Night Football and beating the San Francisco 49ers. I think that's a realistic thing. Maybe not. But yeah, so right now, Lions 10-6, and I think they close the season out with a win against the Minnesota Vikings, making their final record 11-6. I think that's pretty realistic. Nothing too crazy right there. But Faison, I don't know if you have any differing opinions, but I think this is a very maybe it's not a realistic. All right, well, I guess we don't know the rest of the records, so this is a little skewed. Of course, all the other teams we played are 0-1 because I didn't put it. I don't have them winning any games yet. I didn't pick them. But yeah, this is what I think the Lions will do. 11-6 record. I think that's pretty realistic. Maybe we don't get swept by the Bears. We'll probably get won by the Bears. But honestly, who knows? What do you think, Faison? Oh, man. I just keep getting like a little ring in my ear right now. I don't think it's kind of weird. 11-6. We'll do your Packers next, Faison. We'll do your Packers next. And I'm going to reset the schedule. All right. So now we're going to do the Green Bay Packers, the arrival of the Detroit Lions. I had them going 11-6. Hopefully I don't forget what I just picked because I just erased it all. But going with the Green Bay Packers, opening up the season on a Friday, which is weird, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Apparently they're playing in a stadium for a soccer team that hates the color green. Apparently that's their rival color. Good thing both teams are green colored scheme teams. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a fantastic game. I feel like the Packers and Eagles is always a good game. At least the ones I've seen in recent times. You're not going to like me, Faison. You're not going to like me, dude. I'm going the Philadelphia Eagles to start. I think there are so many pieces on that team that make that team great. And now hopefully they have the coaching in order. I think last year the coordinators were a little bit off, not with the system. I don't think whatever his name is. Blanking my mind right now, but Nick Sirianni, I don't think he was all with it towards the end of the season. But they had a great start. I think there's still elements of that team still there. Saquon Barkley's now on that team. They got elite players at so many different positions. I'm giving it to the Philadelphia Eagles, Faison. I apologize. But don't you worry, because I think you come back and you're going to beat the Indianapolis Colts in Lambeau. I think that's an easy pick right there. 1-1 start for the Green Bay Packers. Headed on the okay. Hear me out, man. Hear me out. You're not gonna just stick around. Dude, trust. I did some research. I feel like the Packers never play the Tennessee Titans well. I feel like they always lose to the Tennessee Titans. I don't know if the Tennessee Titans have even won a game, would even win a game yet up to this point, but I have them beating the Packers. Look, trust. Towards the end of the season, they'll come around. But the Packers, they'll flounder a little bit early on. They'll get a couple stupid losses here and there, and then they'll start kicking it into overdrive. Starting with the Minnesota Vikings, I think they'll beat the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think they fucking blew them out towards the tail end of last season, and that was without Kirk. They're still without Kirk, so I think it's going to happen again. So 2-2 start for the Green Bay Packers, and I think the Rams in LA take that one. The Rams are kind of like the Packers. I think they're another horrifying team to play. That's what I'm scared of, the Lions playing them in week 1. But either way, it's going to be a great game. In recent times, the Packers have had the Rams' numbers, but last year, obviously, Matthew Stafford wasn't healthy. But it's going to be interesting. So 2-3. Hey, that's relax, guys. We got it. Okay. I'm not saying wait. You guys got it. You'll beat the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's an easy one. I do think the Packers actually struggle against the Cardinals from time to time, but that might have been, I don't know what that was. I don't know why. But I have them beating a very tough Houston Texans team at home. So they're starting the season 4-3. Then they'll go on the road to Jacksonville, and they will win that game. Week 9, we already said this. I think the Packers and the Lions split, so they'll get a win against the Detroit Lions. So 6-3 record right now for the Green Bay Packers, which is not bad at all. 4-game win streak headed into the bye, week 10 bye, much better than a week 5 bye for sure. You don't think really? You don't. I think I'm more confident about the Packers losing to the Rams than the Packers losing to the Titans. But obviously the Rams are a much better team. But we'll see. Coming off of a bye, I don't know what Bears player said, but he wasn't. They weren't going to lose to the Packers again. Yeah, that's a fucking lie, dude. That is a lie and a half. The Packers own the Bears, no matter who is playing, who is quarterback. Oh, yeah, that's true. The Packers and Texans it's just a normal Sunday game. But the Lions got the Sunday night game. You like it so far? All right. So 7-3, headed into Week 12 against the 49ers. Look, Faison, I think you guys have a good shot at winning this game, but I think the 49ers will they always have your number. You know what? No, I'm going to change that. Why not, right? Why not? I feel like that's a realistic thing to see the Packers win in Lambeau against the 49ers. I feel like that's a realistic thing. They almost beat them in San Francisco in the playoffs last year, so why not? I know the 49ers seem to always beat the Packers, and that's a big trend that we've seen in the NFL in recent times. But I'll give the Packers this one in the regular season. Why not? 8-3, headed into Week 13. I feel like the Packers always beat the Dolphins. That's a Thursday night game. No sweat there. And again, I had y'all splitting with that. Wait, do you guys play on Thanksgiving? Why is that a Thursday? This is a Thursday game. Is it actually a Thursday game? I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough one. Whatever it is, it's going to be very entertaining to watch. That's about all I can say. Then we have Green Bay at Seattle. I know you're going to say Seattle instantly, but I'm kind of torn between this one. Because I think the Seahawks are actually a very underrated team. I don't know. I definitely think the Packers are a much better team than the Seattle Seahawks. So it is. You guys do have a Thanksgiving game. I thought. Oh wait, no, that's right. That's the. That's the night game. Okay. That's the night game against things. That's the night game. I'm just going to have to throw it in. I gave you all a win against the 49ers. You guys are going to lose to the Seahawks, I guess. Just, I don't know. I'm having a gut feeling. You'll beat the Saints. They'll definitely beat the Vikings again. I feel like they usually split with the Vikings, but there's no Kirk Cousins on this team. And then a win they're not going to lose to the Bears. Hell no. So a 12-5 record for the Green Bay Packers. That puts them ahead of the Detroit Lions by a game. Okay, if you think the Seahawks might get you guys, then I'm all for it, man. Packers, I have them going 12-5. That would put them at above one game above the Detroit Lions for the division. So, this division race is going to be so freaking tight, man. It's going to be it's going to be some entertaining football. After last season, now that the Lions, while we're still good, I would definitely love to get to a Super Bowl because you don't know how long you're going to be this good. You really don't know how long you're going to be this good. So I'd love to get to a Super Bowl, but after last season, having won a playoff game, having won to the NFC Championship game, having won the division, there's a lot of check marks that we have checked. So I feel like I'll be a little bit more laid back, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the Packers schedule. Anyone else? I see we have some more people in the audience. Hello, everybody out there. How's it going? My name's Ian. I'm just doing some really bad record prediction. We've done the Lions and Packers. Lions are 11-6. Packers I got going 12-5. I guess maybe I should just leave them all together. Well, no, but you can't see them. You can't see them anyways. All right, whatever. But I guess let's just run up. Let's just continue with the. We can just continue with the NFC North for now. So the Vikings are an interesting team. All right. I love their coaches. I love Kevin O'Connell as head coach. I think he's a great head coach, one of the best in the league for sure. Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator is key to that team's success. If they didn't have if they still had an awful defense, this team would win like 3 games. The thing is, you play the Packers, Lions, and Bears 6 times between all of them. Like, that is a tough schedule. I have them 0-2 right now. Oh, because they're really 0-4 because I had the Packers and Lions both sweeping the Vikings. So we'll see what happens. Starting off for the Minnesota Vikings, they have a home game against the New York Giants in New York. Hate me if you want. I know you said you think they'll go 0-17, but the Giants, they always seem to play the Vikings well. And it's Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold. I really don't know about the Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback. And in theory, the Giants team is completely assembled, fully put together. Nobody is hurt. So maybe we give the Giants a win there. So the Giants beat the Vikings, go 1-0. Vikings 0-1. They beat the 49ers last year, but again, no Kirk Cousins. I just don't see it happening, especially this early on in the season. Believe it or not, I'll give them the win against the Houston Texans. I feel they haven't lost to the Texans in years, I don't think. So I'll give them the game against the Texans. Again, this is kind of around the range where you see teams win their first game. So Vikings, they'll win their first game. They are now 1-2 on the season. We said they'll lose to the Packers. There you go, Mom. There you go. I got a Giants win. All right. Sorry. Sunday in London. Jets versus Vikings. A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers versus the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Jets are a better team in all categories, especially this will depend heavily on if Aaron Rodgers is healthy or not. I'd hope he would be. I feel bad for the guy if he wasn't healthy at this point in the season. Hey, imagine going to Germany and having to watch the Giants and Panthers game. But don't worry, they seem to love it every time. All right, we also said that the Vikings will get swept by Detroit, so they start the season 1-5. Not ideal. Not ideal in the slightest. And then Thursday night, I don't see them beating the Rams at all. So the Vikings are now 1-6, which is if you look at this schedule, this is a brutal schedule, man. Besides the Giants, they maybe could beat the Giants. Besides that, 49ers, Texans, Packers, Jets, Lions, Rams. That is cruel. Yeah, I think the Jets, assuming if everybody's healthy, they have so much depth at the offensive line position now that he should not get hurt. He should not get hurt. But yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers might be in shambles. If he gets hurt this year, he should probably be done for a while. This next game is tough, though, because I know the Colts, they always play the Vikings well. But we know what happened the last time the Colts played the Minnesota Vikings. The biggest comeback in NFL history. They were down like 33-0 at halftime or some shit like that. The Vikings pulled it off. This little red thing right here means they're coming off of a short bye, which means they played on Thursday the week before. Why not, man? I feel bad for the Colts because I love Anthony Richardson. I love the pieces on that team, and I think they'll be a good team. And I think they'll be better than the Vikings. But I'm giving that one to the Vikings, man. So 2-6 at the Jaguars. I don't see them beating the Jaguars. At the Tennessee Titans. See, I want to have them winning more games. I know I do. But I don't know. I feel like they're on the same level with the Tennessee Titans, and the fact that it's in Tennessee might give the Titans the edge there. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. At the Bears, I think the Bears are going to have their way with the Vikings. They'll beat the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins' revenge game right here. Really, it's a Minnesota Vikings revenge game right here. Or, as people have said, this could be a Michael Penix versus J.J. McCarthy game. But I think the Falcons are a better team than the Vikings. So right now I have them at 3-10. Not going well. It's not going well. Home game against the Bears. I also have them losing that. How many games? I had them winning 3 games. Okay. I don't think they'll. I was on the edge about the Tennessee Titans game. So I'll have the Vikings beat the Tennessee Titans. And sure, maybe I'll have them beat the Bears. I think 5 wins is a respectable thing to expect from the Minnesota Vikings. But, man, it's tough out here if you're, hey, look, you know what? It's a rebuilding year. They got some time. They just lost a franchise quarterback in free agency. I think they'll be all right. 5-12, my record for the Minnesota Vikings. You know, not ideal, but it is what it is. Yeah, I guess the Vikings do need like an away win, so I'll give them that game against the Tennessee Titans. I think that's realistic. All right, then we'll close out this with the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears. Look, Faison, I'm kind of shivering in my timbers, bro. This team has, I think, improved significantly from last season. It's all going to come down to how Caleb Williams plays. I think he's overhyped a little bit. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think they'll beat the Tennessee Titans to open up the year. 1-0 record for the Chicago Bears. I don't think they'll beat the Texans, though. I'm going to have the Colts beating them. You know, Anthony Richardson coming off that injury, but I think, yet again, he's still more experienced than Caleb Williams might be. And it's in Indianapolis. I guess it's not that far. It's going to be a good game. I have the Colts winning, though. Not a very good defense for myself, but I have the Colts winning. Rams at the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears, it's going to be a tough game. It really is going to be a tough game. I have the Bears winning that one. First Carolina Panther sighting. I think the Bears beat them. So they're at a 3-2 start. I think they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So a 4-2 start. Have a bye week 7. That's another early bye, but I could care less. At the Commanders coming off a bye, they win that. Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels should be a good matchup. I'm going with Caleb Williams. 5-2 to start the season. Yeah, I'm more comfortable with Aaron Rodgers' health this season than I am last season. I guess that makes sense. I'll have them lose a game to the Arizona Cardinals. You know, I think the Cardinals are going to be better than I think a lot of people. Yeah, I'm a little scared for the Bears. The Cardinals, I think they're a better team. I think they might get the Bears at home. New England Patriots. I think the Bears win that game easily. I have them losing to the Packers, beating the Vikings. And again, this is a Thanksgiving game, so I think the Bears are going to beat the Lions. If it wasn't a Thanksgiving game, I would have the Lions winning this game, but I don't. I don't think they're beating I don't think Caleb Williams is ready to beat the 49ers. I don't think that's happening. I think, so we had the Minnesota Vikings winning that game. And when we had the Bears winning that game, I think they'll beat the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, Week 17. And then they're going to lose to the Green Bay Packers in Week 18, as we established before. So with all of that included, we have the Bears sitting at a 10-7 record, which I think is pretty realistic for them. I think that's a fair record for the Bears. Caleb Williams, rookie season, that might be playoff bound. We'll see. We'll have to do the rest of them. But that might be playoff bound. So we'll have the Bears 10-7. Mom, since you're here, we might as well do the New York Giants schedule. The rest of it. Not the fucking Cowboys. Get them out of here. We might do the New York Giants schedule. Let's do that. Starting off Week 1, we already established that the New York Giants are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And they have an early game against the Washington Commanders on the road. The Giants seem to own the Commanders, okay? So be warned. I have the New York Giants starting 2-0. Don't let that fool you, though. Don't let that fool you. Don't let that get your hopes up. I know some people might get their hopes up. Don't let you get your hopes up. They're going to lose to the Cleveland Browns. I'm pretty sure about that. Dak Prescott has an insane record against the New York Giants. They're not beating on Thursday night, too. Oh, my God. Prime time. The Giants are going to – it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Then on the road, Seattle seems to own the Giants, too, just as much as the Lions. This one's in Seattle, so I'm going to give the edge to the Seahawks right there. 2-3 start for the New York Giants. Cincinnati. Cincinnati at the New York Giants. I definitely think the Bengals are a better team. I definitely think the Bengals are a better team. Do I pick the Giants? I feel like this just has the essence of a game the Giants would win. If that made any sense. This has the essence of a game the Giants would win. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to be safe. I'll go with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a good team. But I wouldn't be surprised. I just wouldn't be surprised. I feel like that's a game that has the essence of a Giants win. 2-4 for the Giants. I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles this year. Last year they did. Good job to them. I don't think they're doing it this year. I think the Steelers will get the Giants on Monday Night Football. I don't trust the Giants' offense, and I don't trust many parts of their defense. Steelers, I don't trust them either, but I trust them a whole lot more. Especially, I think Russell Wilson is getting overhated a little bit. But anyways, Week 9, they're going to sweep the Washington Commanders as they seem to do a lot. So they are now 3-6. And headed into Week 10, they're going to torture the people of Munich, Germany, with the Giants and Panthers. And I think the Giants take a game against the Carolina Panthers, putting them at 4 wins, 4-6. Then they have a bye and then a date with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are also coming off of a bye. Baker Mayfield and that team, I think, will dice up the New York Giants defense. Sorry, Mom. I don't know. I know that's not pretty. Again, I think the Cowboys will sweep the Giants. Here we go. Giants beating the New Orleans Saints. I don't like the coaching situation on the New Orleans Saints, and I think they'll probably take a step back from what they did last season. I think Derek Carr is coming to the end of his career. 5-8 for the New York Giants, which, isn't half bad. It's not half bad. They can definitely beat the Steelers, but I'm not going to put my money on that. This is an interesting one. The Baltimore Ravens are once again playing not the Detroit Lions, the New York Giants. And hey, this is the one NFC loss of Lamar Jackson. But the issue is Ravens are coming off a bye. They're not letting that shit happen again. I have the Ravens taking that one against the Giants. I think the Falcons in Atlanta will beat the New York Giants. So if we go, I don't think the Giants will win, Mom. I apologize for that. But hey, I think they'll beat on Saturday. They will beat the Indianapolis Colts. Will they? Will they, though? Hold on. Let's think about this, because I always think back to the game where they obliterated Nick Foles. I feel like maybe I'm reaching a little bit. They're not going to beat the Eagles, sorry. Unless the Eagles bench people, but I don't think they will. This puts the Giants at a 6-11 record, which is exactly what they had last season, so it's probably wrong. But that's all right. Giants at 6-11. I think that's a realistic thing to expect from the New York Giants. I could really see them losing to the Colts right here. Maybe I do have them lose to the Colts. Make them 5-12. Tyler Huntley, the GOAT. Yeah. Bring back Tyler Huntley, man. Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. Don't forget. Yeah, I'll change that one. I'll have the Giants lose to the Colts. I don't know. Why not? All right, so I guess we can continue with the NFC East. Why not? The Dallas Cowboys. Let's just get this out of the way. All right, Mom. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you got to see me pick the Giants. Sorry it wasn't more in their favor, but, what did we expect? It's the Giants. They lost a bunch of key pieces to their team in free agency, and they already weren't good. Now, I like the Malik Neighbors draft. That's a good draft. They had a good draft, but Evan Neal's still playing on that offensive line. You know how it is. Dallas Cowboys playing against Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns could win this. This is Tom Brady's first game announcing, I think. Is he announcing? I don't even know. He's covering it. That's all I know. I have the Dallas Cowboys beating the Cleveland Browns. I think they'll beat the New Orleans Saints in Dallas. Lamar Jackson doesn't mess with these NFC teams. The Cowboys will probably embarrass themselves. All right, hold on. I should have reset. So boom, boom, boom. They're beating the Giants. They're sweeping the Giants. I have them beating the Steelers. So that's an interesting one. Classic rivalry right there. This puts the Cowboys at 4-1. I have them losing to the Lions, baby. Yeah, we're getting our revenge. Don't you worry. 4-2, and then they head into the bye, and then they usually lose to the 49ers in this day and age. So I'm keeping it like that. So 4-3 for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys fans are probably pissed, and they're probably not gonna. Skip Bayless is gonna lose his shit because they're 4-3. They'll beat Atlanta. I think they'll beat Atlanta and Kirko. Sorry, Falcons fans. They'll take one game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to lose Monday night to the Texans. The Texans have to win. They have to be the best team in Texas, man. They are more likable than the Cowboys in every single category, man. Every single category. So, yeah. Give me the Houston Texans over the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, I'll say this too. Every year, or I think it's every other year, the Cowboys lose in some bullshit way to the Commanders. So they're going to do that. They're going to do that this year. So right now, the Cowboys, I have them sitting at 6-5. Not a very pretty record. But again, they'll beat the Giants on. They play. Wait. The Giants and Cowboys play each other on 2 different Thursday night games. What? Oh, that's Thanksgiving. That's the Thanksgiving game. Yeah, hell no. Sorry, Mom. They're not fucking winning that. I say they beat the Bengals, okay, in Dallas. I think they beat the Bengals. Beat the Panthers. I'm not very worried about that game, getting that game wrong. And they'll beat the... I shouldn't be so confidently saying they'll beat the Buccaneers. I think they'll beat the Buccaneers. But I shouldn't be that confident. I should not be that confident. No. Philadelphia Eagles, they're taking that game. And to close out the season, they'll beat the Commanders, bringing their record to 11-6. Which is, I think, again, reasonable to expect from the Dallas Cowboys. All right. So we'll move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. And we already said Faison, I am sorry, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles will take the first game in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. Falcons fans, I'm sorry. They're going to beat you on Monday Night Football. I feel like they struggle with the Saints, so I have them losing their first game against the Saints. They have a little slip up right there, but they'll be right back with it by beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No sweat about it. They also have a Week 5 bye, which is fucking bullshit, but that's all right. They'll beat the Cleveland Browns coming off of their bye. So right now they are 4-1, beating the Giants. Then they'll lose to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's going to, light them up. I really have no grounds to go off of this, but I think they'll lose on the road in Cincinnati. I think they're going to have a somewhat resurgence here maybe. They'll beat the Jaguars in Philadelphia, though. They'll lose. Let's have them splitting with the Cowboys. They'll win the game on Thursday night against the Washington Commanders. I think they beat the Rams on the road. I feel like that's what they normally do. Lose to the Baltimore Ravens. Again, the Baltimore Ravens do not mess with these NFC teams. They will win. Eagles will beat the Carolina Panthers. That's easy. I think they'll beat the Steelers. Here we go. There's another random. I think kind of with the same thing with the Cowboys. There's always like a random ass loss to the Commanders. And then I think the Eagles will win these last 2 games, bringing their record to 12-5. A 12-5 record for the Philadelphia Eagles, putting them ahead of the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. I kind of like it. We'll move on to the Washington Commanders, which is a really interesting team. I cannot tell you how good this team is going to be. Because Jaden Daniels, I feel like it's going to be a hit or miss. He's either going to be outstanding or he's going to suck. He's probably going to start right off the bat, which, I don't think is ever good. I think he might be a fragile quarterback, and especially that, this Commanders' offensive line was fucking terrible the year before. They've definitely made an effort to improve it in the offseason, so maybe it's a little bit better. But nonetheless, I would not feel confident behind it. But that's besides the point. They're going to lose to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to take that Week 1 game. Oh no, I won't be surprised in the slightest if the Packers do win that game. I think if the Packers win that game, that's going to set a tone. It's kind of like the Lions beating the Chiefs last year. It's going to set a tone for the rest of the season for the Packers that they are going to be good if they win that game. I think it's kind of a statement win. Early on in the season, I know, but I think that'll be a game that people will remember. The Commanders, I have them losing to the Giants, so 0-2 start. Losing to the Bengals. I really don't see them beating to the Bengals. So they're 0-3. Not very pretty. No. I don't think I have them beating the Cardinals either. I know this is usually around. I don't think they're beating the Browns. They're not. Hell no. Yeah, they'll beat the Panthers. Will they though? I don't know, man. Commanders are such a hard team to predict because I feel like they added so much to this team. So much depth is on this team. I know it's a lot of it's older. See, I'm not even confident that they beat the Panthers. I think they will. I'll go with it. So they beat the Panthers. They're not beating the Bears. They're not beating the Giants. They're not going to be the Steelers coming off a bye. They're not going to beat. I know they spoiled their undefeated run a few years ago. And then I have that bullshit win against the Cowboys. They lose to the Eagles on Thursday night. I have them losing to the Tennessee Titans. Saints losing there. And then they always seem to beat the Falcons, so I'll give them the win against the Falcons. A bullshit win against the Philadelphia Eagles and loss at the Dallas Cowboys. So 4-13 is where I have the Washington Commanders. You know, I definitely think they're an improved team, but they have the same record. Maybe it's hard to see now, I guess, which teams are going to rise and which ones are going to fall for sure. But Commanders, it's hard, man. Rookie quarterback, they're in a rebuild season. I think Jaden Daniels has the potential to be very good, but, you know, we are yet to see, okay? 4-13, I think, is a reasonable prediction for the Washington Commanders. And that will put them in last place in the division. All right, Faison, or anybody else in the audience, who do we want to see next? What division do we want to see next? I'm probably only going to do 2 more divisions because this has been a long stream so far. We can keep it rolling with the NFC, or we can do some AFC ones. I am all for it, man. I'm just freestyle. I'm kind of freestyling. I've been obsessing over this over the last few hours. Had to get it off my chest, man. Needed to predict the NFL season. I'm working on some prediction models too. AFC South is your choice. All right, Rob Logan. Let's look at the AFC South. Let's just start with the Houston Texans, man. This is the most hyped team, one of the most hyped teams in the NFL. I fucking love the Texans. I love me some Houston Texans, man. Also, thank you for the suggestion, man. I appreciate you being here. We just talk football. I make some terrible predictions, but I'm glad you're here. Houston Texans, I think, are going to be a scary team. Like I said earlier, I think they'll beat the shit out of the Detroit Lions. But we'll start off right here at the Colts. Yeah, that's always a tough one early on in the season. They beat the Colts last year on the last game of the season. I think it's tough, man. This is a tough one. But I think Texans start off 1-0. I think that sets the tone for the division that they're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, of course, we all know this. I think they go on and beat the Chicago Bears. I had them losing to the Vikings earlier. Again, I just, basing it off history, they don't beat the Vikings very often, but that's all right. Again, this is also the range where teams that are good, if they're undefeated, they'll eventually lose their first game, maybe weeks 3, 4, and 5. Around this range, they usually lose. They'll beat the Jaguars. Well, hold on. Okay, because I feel like the Texans and Jaguars, they always flip-flop now. So I think they'll split, but I'll have the Jags winning in Houston. That makes sense. I think they beat the Buffalo Bills. Hear me out. When they had Deshaun Watson, I feel like they beat the Bills a lot. I don't know. I think that's just a fun little pick. Plus, are the Bills usually, they're not really like that great in the beginning of the season. At least they weren't last year. So that's what I'm rocking with right now. 3-2 start for the Houston Texans. I think that's pretty realistic. Then they will beat the New England Patriots. The Patriots rebuilding year. I think the Texans are now all of a sudden, after being abysmal, like terrible 2 years ago, are now maybe contenders. Dude, if the Texans go to the Super Bowl, I'll be so hyped. Unless they're playing the Lions. That's besides the point. Earlier, we had the Packers beating the Texans. I think they sweep the Colts. That might be a little bit of a bold pick. I don't think they do that very often. But I'm not sure. Thursday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers and the Houston Texans. That's going to be a good game. I'm going to give that to the Jets, though. Why? I don't know. Maybe their defense. I think the Jets have a slightly better defense than the Houston Texans, although the Texans' defense is significantly improved. And I think their secondary might be their weakest link on that team. That or the offensive line. Either way, I think they'll beat the shit out of the Lions. I feel like they always do. They are the best team in Texas. In Texas, give me that Monday night game, bro. Texans are going to beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. 7-4, headed into Week 12. No bye week yet. They are going to beat the Tennessee Titans in Houston. And like I said before, Jags and Texans are splitting. But I have them flip-flopped just because I feel like that's always what happens. Now a late Week 14 bye. Coming off the bye, playing the Miami Dolphins. That's going to be a tough game. I'll give it to the Texans, man. I'm running with it. They're not. I don't know about beating the Chiefs though. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to pick the Texans there. They definitely can do it after what we saw last season from the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. It might start to become like a thing where teams just don't try as hard in the regular season, or maybe it's just a Chiefs thing. Oh, Ravens and Texans, man. This is a game. I never see the Texans beat the Ravens, but this year it's going to happen. It's going to happen this year, guys. Believe it or not, it's going to happen. They're going to get the revenge for that ass whooping in the divisional round, and I think the Texans take the game against the Tennessee Titans. This brings the Texans' record to 12-5, which I honestly think is a very realistic. I mean, of course, you would hope so, right? Because I made the predictions, but I think this is a very realistic record to have for the Texans. I don't know. 12-5, probably one of the top seeds in the AFC, I think. I think they'll win the division. I probably shouldn't have started with them. But let's do the Jaguars next. Why not? Let's do the Jaguars. Starting off week 1 at the Miami Dolphins. Giving the Dolphins the win there. I feel like they always start off the season strong. Then I know the Browns beat the Jaguars last season, but Trevor Lawrence, I think he was playing hurt. I don't know if that's a theory, if there's any grounds to that, but he didn't play against the Carolina Panthers. No, it was the Panthers. But they beat the shit out of them, 29-0 with C.J. Beathard. I think last season, Trevor Lawrence got a lot of hate. I think it was because he was playing injured. And obviously, this year, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't play injured. That you don't win. That's not a good way to win football games, at least for some people. And Trevor Lawrence didn't seem like it. Then this is going to be a fun one on Monday Night Football. I'm giving them the game against the Buffalo Bills. So this is a 3-1 start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then they have a home game against the Indianapolis Colts. I'll give them that one. So 4-1. Starting off, which is a good record. Probably won't happen, actually, but now that I'm looking at it, in hindsight, after looking at it, it doesn't really look like it. But I think, like I said earlier, I have the Bears beating them in Chicago. I think they'll beat the Patriots. Mac Jones revenge game. They got to win that. I have the Packers beating them in Jacksonville. They're not going to beat the Eagles on the road. I don't see that happening. They'll beat the Minnesota Vikings. They'll lose to the Detroit Lions. Then they got a good bye week, week 12. Again, I have them splitting with the Texans. Flip-flop, though, between home and away. At the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Titans, I think they got better, and they kind of showed up the Jacksonville Jaguars last season. So there you go. They give them a win home against the Jaguars. They think they'll beat the Jets in Jacksonville on the road against the Raiders. That's an interesting game. I could definitely see. They're 7-7 right now. I'll have them beat the Raiders, I think. I wouldn't be shocked, though. I have them splitting with the Tennessee Titans. Oh, man, that's a tough game. Oh, they're 12-2 against the Jags last 7 seasons, and then at home. So wait, are they 12-2 overall, like record wise, like the 7 seasons they played them twice? I know. I think those 2 came from the last 2 seasons, because I remember the Texans last year they beat the shit out of the Jaguars in Jacksonville. It was like 37-17, some shit like that. And then they were really bad, and then they beat the Jaguars on the road, like 9-6 or something. So yeah, I have the Texans. I have them splitting. Yeah, I don't know. Do you hate the Jaguars? Are you like a Jaguars? I've never met anyone that's like, man, I hate the Jaguars. So I'm curious. Do you hate the Jaguars? I don't know if that's funny or not. Because no offense, Faison, I know you're still watching, and I appreciate you for that. But I don't like the Packers. I'm not a big Green Bay Packers fan. I'm not very fond of them. And yeah, I definitely think your Texans are going to beat the shit out of Lions. Maybe it won't be as big of a blowout as I think, but that Thanksgiving, you know what? No. Thank you to the Houston Texans, because you did us the biggest favor on Thanksgiving years ago and gave us a reason to fire Matt Patricia. You guys are responsible for everything, because if we didn't fire Matt Patricia, no Dan Campbell, none of that. So it's kind of weird if you think about it. It's kind of weird if you think about it, how everything falls into place. All right. Fair enough, man. But yeah, I'm excited for the Texans, man. I would love to see the Texans in the Super Bowl. They just someone's got to get past Kansas City. And and the regular season, they'll make you think it, apparently. But then at the same time, nobody's getting by them. I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat. That'd be so lame. All right, so I'm going to actually do the Colts next. So I had the Jaguars at 9-8. I don't know if I said that. Jaguars, 9-8. Hated Matt Patricia. I wanted him gone after the first season, and people were telling me, I mean, that's fair. Give the guy a chance, but I was like, this guy's not going to work out. No. Signing every washed Patriots player and thinking it'd make us the Patriots. But anywho, Indianapolis Colts, I might get some hate for this because they won 9 games last year. I stand by the fact that they were severely overrated last year, but now with Anthony Richardson back, hopefully healthy, maybe it's different, but who knows. I have them losing to the Texans, losing to the Packers, 0-2 to start off the season. Sorry, Colts fans. But I have them beating the Bears, as you said earlier. I think they'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee Titans coming off of a early bye week again. I have the Titans winning that game. So they start off the season 3-4. I don't think they're going to beat the Dolphins. I don't think they're good enough to beat the Dolphins. At Texans, nope. I don't think they're beating the Houston on the road. I think I gave the Vikings this game. So they're 3-7, but the Colts are better than the Vikings, man. I'm conflicted. I'm so conflicted. Because you have like an idea of how good a team is in your head, but then you look at their schedule and they're like, oh, they're fucked. Here, I actually do think they'll beat the Bills. I think the Colts very often beat the Bills, but they also very often lose to the Jets. I had the Lions beating them earlier. They'll beat the Patriots, sure. Bye week, they'll beat the Broncos, sure. Beat the Titans, and I had them beating the Giants. So you know what? No, I stand by it. I think that's a fair prediction. So the Colts, I had going 8-9, which I think is again a realistic thing to expect. That's a 1-game difference. I just don't think they're a playoff caliber team quite yet. I mean, they're a playoff caliber team, but I'm thinking like wild card. Like they're not doing anything. If they go to the divisional round, they're gonna lose. Like that's gonna be a free ticket to the other team. But yeah, I think this is a realistic realistic prediction. I say it about everyone. I'm so good at this, guys. Believe it or not. All right, Tennessee Titans. Another interesting team. Because preseason, like this team, I think this team needed the most offseason work out of any team. They completely wiped the depth chart. They got rid of Mike Vrabel, which I don't think was smart. And yeah, they needed the most help this offseason. But you know what? I think they got it. Jerry Sneed, who I wanted to be on the Lions, now on their team. I think they already have some pretty good defense players as it is. I think a lot of them ended up going to the Texans. And then I don't know. They're an interesting team. I think Will Levis might be slightly underrated. I think he'll impress a lot of people. Improves offensive line, hopefully. Holy shit! I wish they definitely wanted Joe Alt. If they had Joe Alt, I'd be so much more confident. But J.C. Latham, I don't think he's a instant impact maker, but that's okay. I had the Titans losing to the Bears, starting off 0-1. I think they'll lose. You know what? No, they'll beat the New York Jets week 2, 1-1. Like I said earlier, I had them beating the Green Bay Packers. You know, they had that fun little game where they beat the Dolphins last year, so I'll have them do it again. 3-1 start for the Tennessee Titans and a very early bye week. And then another win, 4-1, fooling everybody. I feel like I have a lot of 4-1 teams. Thank you, Faison, bro. No, I think they were doing it last night. I didn't see any. Adam Rank wasn't doing predictions. I did not see Adam Rank doing any predictions. Thank the Lord. I mean, mine are not any better. I cannot, dude. I literally. Vrabel did so much for that franchise. It just seemed. You'll see in a second what I do because of that. They lose to the Bills, so they start 4-1. Everyone thinks they're good. Oh my God, Tennessee Titans are actually good. And then they lose to the Bills, they lose to Detroit. And then the fucking Patriots. Faison, stop laughing. Stop laughing, Faison. I don't know. I think maybe not this one, but they beat it's just because of the fun little game, man. The fun little game where Will Levis scored 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds or something. Here, how about this? That's a tad bit more realistic, I think. So they go 2-2. You know what? I'm sticking with this. So they right now are 3-5 on the season. I think the Chargers get the best of them, so they are now 3-6. Did I have the Vikings beating them? I did, didn't I? I went back on it. I had the Vikings beating them. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Commanders, Titans beating the Commanders, losing to the Texans, of course. Hey, getting some more revenge on the Jaguars. They always beat the fucking Bengals, so I'm going with the Bengals or the Tennessee Titans on this one. It's interesting. They're 6-8 now. Lose to the Colts, lose to the Jags, lose to the Texans. So 6-11. Which is I think it's the same exact record they had last year. But I think I gave them more credit than a lot of other people. These predictions really aren't, different from next season. Don't worry. I'll make some later in the season with way more analysis. But right now we're just having some fun, right? 6-11 for the Tennessee Titans. That would put them, I think, last in their division. Colts, I had 8-9. Titans, I had 6-11. So I had Houston winning that division at 12-5. Jacksonville in second, 9-8. Indianapolis third, 8-9. And then I had the Tennessee Titans fourth at 6-11. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. All right. One more division for the night. Then I'm probably going to call it a day. Hey, if you're watching this, man, and you enjoy this, I don't know why you would, but please hit subscribe, maybe. I swear I'm going to be doing more of this. I promise. But if you would like to see more of this or hop in and just talk, subscribe and turn notifications on. You might see some. But yeah, I need another division to do. We can rock it with the AFC or we can go back to NFC. You can do whatever. Dude, I'm so Faison, I'm so ready for the football season to be back. Watching hype videos made me so excited. And you're a loser. You got and homework still. I'm out. Kowalski says you better do NFC South. I'm guessing we got a Falcons fan in here. All right. I won't start with the Falcons, okay? Let's start with the Panthers. A team so ass that some fucking idiot predicted that they'd go to the playoffs. I don't know who did that. That right there lost me all of my credibility. But we're doing the NFC South. Carolina Panthers. All right, they start off 0-1. I don't have them beating the Saints week 1. But I did look it up earlier. They have a really good record against the Chargers. And I think Hi Mason. I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was you. Don't you worry. But I have the Panthers getting their first win of the season in week 2. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I like the name change, Kowalski. No, don't tell Faison to leave. You respect Faison, buddy. Pal. But anyways, Panthers 500 on the season. Someone take a picture. It's great, isn't it? Oh boy, I love the arguing in the shot, dude. I love the arguing in the shot. Love it. Okay. Week 3 against the Raiders, I have them losing to the Raiders. Cincinnati Bengals will probably beat the shit out of them. Oh, what is happening, dude? What are you... Guys, we're predicting the NFC South here. Settle down, Buckaroos. I believe it. Anywho, yeah, so 1-3 start for the Carolina Panthers. I'm sure the most shocking part of this might be that they have a win. Then they'll lose to the Bears. Don't worry, Mason. Hey, physics is hard, man. Down the bin. Oh my God. Don't worry, Mason. I don't think the Falcons are going to lose to the Panthers this year. Okay, they might. Could happen. Who knows? 1-5 start for the Carolina Panthers. 1-6. 1-7. All right, hey, 2-7. There we go. Are y'all even? What? They're not even. Y'all aren't even watching, dog. You're just arguing. Mason comes in here just to wreak havoc. Anywho, I have the Panthers getting their second win of the season, week 9, against the New Orleans Saints at home. Divisional rivalry, why not? And then I think the Giants beat them in Germany, poor Germans. After the bye, they play the Chiefs, unfortunately, so they'll probably get destroyed. But here, I'll give them yet another win. Thank you, Faison. I'll give them another win against the Buccaneers. They got really close to beating them last season. Now they got Dave Canales, their former offensive coordinator, as their head coach. Hey, maybe they have some fun. He gets a win there. At the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, they're not winning that. They're not beating the Cowboys. Do I have them beat the Cardinals? Let's see. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? And then they're going to lose these last two. Yeah, my bad. Panthers are 17-0. You're right. What are you? Jeez. 4-13 for the Carolina Panthers. Double the amount of wins they had last season. Pretty good season. We will now go to the New Orleans Saints. Another confusing team. I have them splitting with the Panthers. Let me write down this record so I don't forget. Oh my God. You guys need to chill. Oh! The fucking Kowalski just... This chat is more entertaining, man. What is going on? No. does that mean? What are y'all? Okay. Anyways, Saints 1-0 against the Carolina Panthers. 1-1. They're not beating the Cowboys, but I do have them upsetting the Eagles in New Orleans. 2-1. At the Falcons, I have them losing. 2-2. At the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, they're going to fucking lose that. I'd hope. Buccaneers coming off of a short week. Maybe, they get the edge there. So 2-4 start for the New Orleans Saints. I have them beating the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Sean Payton revenge game not happening. At the Los Angeles Chargers, I feel like that's a random game that the Saints will win, The Drew Brees effect there, okay? 4-4 Saints on the season. They have them losing to the Panthers. After loss to the Panthers, though, they come back, beat the Atlanta Falcons at home in New Orleans. Faison, what are you doing dating your cousin, dude? I'm just kidding. I know it's a prank. I know it's a joke. Don't you worry. Okay, coming off a bye, I don't think the Saints are getting the best of the Cleveland Browns, but then they go on their bye, come back, play the Los Angeles Rams, and I do not think they're going to win that game. And I think I had the Giants beating the Saints. Then they'll come they'll at home, they'll beat the Washington Commanders. Oh boy. You guys are all right, this is entertaining. The Green Bay Packers, I have them beating the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints will beat the Raiders, and then they will Derek Carr revenge game. I think he'll handle business there. And then they will get one last-minute win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, last game of the season, making them 8-9, which is, I think, it's fair for the New Orleans Saints. All right. Let's go to the Buccaneers. We'll save the Falcons for last because I'm sure Mason is eager to see my predictions for them. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though, I have them beating, as we said earlier, they'll beat the Washington Commanders. They're just a better team than the Commanders in general. Then on the road against the Detroit Lions, I think they'll lose to the Detroit Lions 1-1. I think they'll easily take care of the Denver Broncos in Tampa, but then they'll drop a game against the Philadelphia Eagles, so that makes them 2-2. They'll lose on Thursday night. Oh, but that's a primetime game. I don't know. I don't know why that's Monday night. Mason's just throwing shots after shots, dude. Because this is a primetime game and it's Kirk Cousins, I'll have the Buccaneers win. A little bit of a scandalous game for you, but 3-2 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then I think they come back and get a win against the New Orleans Saints. 4-2. Monday night, they're not beating the Ravens. Absolutely not. Then the Falcons go into Tampa, and they'll beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They'll lose to the Chiefs. Oh, they're fucking losing to the 49ers for sure. Then you got a bye week. Coming off the bye, they'll beat the New York Giants. I think they're a better team than the Giants. They'll lose to the Panthers. Hey, it's divisional rivalry. Dave Canales getting his revenge. Not a revenge, but it's gonna be a tough game. I picked the Falcons, man. Don't you worry. You'll have to wait and see, Mason. You have to wait, bro. Buccaneers, I have them beating the Raiders, losing to the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert and crew, Jim Harbaugh get the best of them. 6-8, head into a game against the Cowboys. I had them losing, and then they have them beating the Panthers in Week 17 and losing to the Saints in Week 18, making the Buccaneers 7-10, which will most likely Faison, don't encourage him to unsub. Making them 7-10. First, probably, their first miss out on the playoffs in 4 years. So, hey, can't win them all, right? But yeah, 7-10 for the Buccaneers. I think that's a somewhat reasonable view on this prediction. I think it's right. All right. Oh shoot! I just hit randomize all. All right, well, according to the randomizer, this is the record, according to the randomizer. Oh, you can't see him. Or whatever. Reset. Schedule. All right, let's take a look at the Atlanta Falcons schedules. All right, pay attention, Mason. Pay attention. I'm about to tell you exactly what's going to happen for the Atlanta Falcons in 2024. They never play well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers only got better. Kirk Cousins didn't play well against the Steelers either, I don't think. So 0-1 start for the Atlanta Falcons. Monday Night Football against the Eagles, they're going to lose that. I'm sorry. Bear with me. And then the Chiefs, you guys are not beating the Chiefs. So an 0-3 start for the Falcons. I know it doesn't look pretty. But don't you worry. Home game against the New Orleans Saints, they win that. Thursday night, I had them losing to the Buccaneers, so 1-4 start. But they come back and beat the Carolina Panthers on the road. They always beat the Seattle Seahawks. I very rarely ever see the Seahawks beat the Falcons nowadays. Then I have the Falcons bouncing back and beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're now on a 3-game win streak. And then I'd have them losing, like we said earlier, to the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are just a better team than the Atlanta Falcons defensively by a large margin. Saints on the road, tough rivalry game. I think they lose that one. They are now 4-6. They'll beat the Denver Broncos. I don't think they'll have that much trouble there. Then they have a bye. They'll lose to Justin Herbert and company. Lose to the Los Angeles Chargers. They should, in theory, beat the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like they always lose to the Vikings, but no Kirk Cousins. Plus, Kirk Cousins is now on the other team, other side of things, so they should be good in that department. I think they'll beat the Las Vegas Raiders. They'll beat the New York Giants. 3-game win streak. They always lose to the Commanders. We all know this. They always lose. But they'll end the season with a dub against the Carolina Panthers, making the Falcons 9-8. Which would then make them first in the NFC South above all the other teams. So congratulations, Mason. I do think the Falcons should win the NFC South, and I think they should host a playoff game in 2024. Who's he throwing to? Good question, but good offensive line. They have Ladd McConkey, Joshua Kelly's the running back, Josh Palmer, and Quentin Johnson. And Will Dissly. That's the crew that they're working with. But I trust Jim Harbaugh as a coach. I think defensively they still have plenty of playmakers on that team. Jim Harbaugh is a big offensive line, defensive line guy. They have both of those in that department. And we forget that Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback. So that's who they're throwing to. Plus, I always feel like the Chargers just always beat the Falcons. That's another one. Chargers, I don't know, man. We forget how much a good coach can change things. And I think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. I don't think the Chargers will be that great, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Respectfully, you're wrong. Mason, shut up. I just predicted their offense is poverty. No, they're going to have a good offensive line. Exactly. You're right. Why didn't I think of that? 15-2 lose twice to the Panthers. You're absolutely right, Mason. I can't wait to see it happen. But anyways, Falcons 9-8. Look, I got them right. I got the record right last year, okay? So let's have some grounds to it. But yeah, 9-8 for the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, all right, you hoodlums. That was a lot. I was planning on doing the whole league, but we'll just have to say it for another time. I can use it for another stream. Look at that. But I will see both of you, hopefully. Don't fight each other or something. I don't know. But I'll see you all in the next one, hopefully. Especially because the next one, you guys will probably be on summer vacation, which is fun. But I'll see you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.